Well, good afternoon. The time is 5:32 p.m. We do have a quorum present, so I'm going to call the meeting to order. We will not be having our executive session this evening due to an absence of the presenter. We will defer that to the next session. We will be meeting tonight in work session in the first floor conference room. The public is invited and encouraged to join us. Thank you very much. We will be back here at 7:30 for the regular session of the council meeting. All right, good afternoon, everybody. The time is 5:33. We are in work session for the city council. We have deferred our executive session until the next meeting due to Mindy's absence tonight. So please keep her in your thoughts. Just as a note, citizens' comments will not be heard during work session, but will be heard during the regular session under our citizens' appearance. We only have 2 items on the agenda this evening. The first one is a discussion, the first one is a discussion regarding the agenda. Any comments or questions? And Mark, if you have anything to say, please speak up because I keep forgetting to look at the screen. So thanks for joining us. Anybody have any comments or questions on the agenda?
I do.
Jim?
I was waiting for my computer to come up.
We can't hear Mark.
We cannot hear.
He was muted.
No, he's unmuted now.
Can you hear me now?
There.
We got you.
Okay.
There we go.
Do you want to say something?
No, I just have some questions, but thank you. Got to agree to all the items, including handover for my banking account numbers. Okay. I had one question on the Andy Brown Park pond restoration, one on the Sandy Lake median redesign, and one on the plaster resurfacing. And then I had several on the legislative priorities, but that's later.
Yeah. Okay, so we have BC, and what was the last one? NF, is that correct?
I believe so, yes.
All right, item B is the Andy Brown Park Pond Restoration. Aaron?
It's me.
Mike? Says Aaron down here.
Yeah. He's on vacation.
Oh, okay. Mike?
What's the question?
Hey, big guy. So, do we have prior experience with coal construction?
Yes, sir. Coal Construction is currently doing Hunterwood Park and Arborbrook Creek.
And you're happy with all that?
They've been very successful in our projects.
Okay, so we're okay that they're the lowest bid?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, that's it. That's all I have for that one.
All right, Mike, you can stay standing.
Yes, sir.
Item C is the East Sandy Lake Road median improvement.
Okay, yeah, and I had another question on that. So, the end of life of around 10 to 12 years for the median design and landscaping was mentioned. Do those xeriscape designs that we're implementing, you know, that save so much water and everything, do those have a longer lifespan?
Can you help me with that?
So,
I mean, it's just
all
more of a
landscape
curiosity.
definitely has a lifespan. With proper watering, we hope to get a little bit longer. Certainly the maintenance aspect is gonna be where our cost savings and time savings factor in on the xeriscape.
Yeah, and then the water,
Yes.
yeah. Okay. That- And then I had about the core resurfacing. But it's really more about the bidding process as much as anything.
So we used buy board. We went through buy board. We have worked with Sunbelt before. They've done some previous projects with us for pool plaster. At the outdoor pool, one of the other pools outside, and then recently with our play feature last year.
Okay, so thank you for that. So my question was, so on the plaster resurfacing, we went through by board, and for the restrooms and all like that out at Andy Brown Central and Wagon Way, we went through tips. But we didn't do that for Cole Construction. So what, I was just curious, what determines whether any of these vendors or service providers are a member of TIPS or certified by TIPS or by board or not certified at all?
So typically, when there is a design project, it's a public works civil type project, those are required to be bid out. When there's facility type projects, those are the ones that can be, there's alternative ways of procuring those type of projects, being cooperative purchasing being one of them. So when we do a large construction project that has a design component to it, those are typically bid out because they're considered public works type projects.
Okay, so the pond restoration is
Correct.
all that kind of design and
Yeah,
everything?
Correct.
Okay, all right, that's curious. And do we having to do with who applies to be able to bid on TIPS or by board, or is that just all done through the state of
So
Texas?
it's done through the state, so there's multiple agencies that have these cooperative purchasing programs, and the vendors that are on there, they have to apply to those programs and submit their bids through there. So it's a bid process that the cooperative purchasing program goes through. So all those items on there and all those vendors on there go through a bidding process to be selected onto the co-op.
Okay, thanks, Mike. I probably should ask you that privately sometime, but I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
That's all I had, other than legislative stuff.
All right. Well, we got the lady to handle that in a moment. Bijou?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I have a follow-up to number C, the median question. My understanding was we removed, or we tried to remove all the grass, and we put a non-grass material, so we don't need to water it. Do we have still medians with the grass?
So there is a different type of grass, and correct me if I'm wrong to the landscape team that, but there is a different type of grass that we are using in the medians that don't require watering, similar to the previous grasses that we used in the older style of medians. And so there is still some turf in the medians, but it's not, it's a different type, buffalo grass that we're using, and it doesn't require the watering that typical grass would require.
So the sprinkler system is still intact?
Yes, there's still a sprinkler system intact because the plant still didn't need water, but it's just less of it and less frequency than previous landscapes.
Okay, so we are still using water?
Correct.
But less frequent?
Yeah, it's a considerable amount of less water.
How many miles of median with the grass?
I believe, I don't, off the top of my head, I don't know how many miles of grass. There's 3 miles worth of medians that we are replacing, but I don't know how many square feet translates to just the sod, the grass. I can find that for you.
Okay, thank you, Mike.
Anything else?
I'm good.
I like hearing buffalo grass. Buffalo grass is a native Texas turf, and it was what filled most of the prairies, and it's a very drought-resistant grass.
Doesn't require water?
It requires some,
Okay.
but
Much less.
I mean, it lived in Texas for hundreds and thousands of years without water. All right, we're going to move on to item B, which is a presentation discussion regarding the 2027 legislative priorities. And for this, all the way up from Austin, Texas, we have Ms. Jennifer Rodriguez. And Callie, did you need to give an intro to this, or is it?
Come on, here we go. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Jennifer Rodriguez, who's our legislative consultant, is here. She'll provide a recap of the 89th legislative session and really kind of what to look forward to in the 90th. And then after that, I will look to you for direction on what you would like included in our platform and our priorities. There are 2 documents. The platform is the large document that you're used to seeing that's about 7 pages long. That is used during the interim session, so right now. It contains more in-depth research and information about items, and that's given to our state legislators as they are working on their platforms so they can incorporate our needs and desires into theirs. And then the second document, which is in the very back page, the colored looks like this. This is our priorities postcard, which we use during actually in session. As you know, it goes fast and furious, so it works as a quick reference guide just for our top priorities. So with that, I will hand it to Jennifer.
Good afternoon, y'all. Thanks for having me here. And I will say, it is so very helpful that whenever y'all have this every session, we've gotten, or y'all have gotten to where it's like a great little document that's easy to read and hand out, and they appreciate it. I know that your legislators' offices do, and we appreciate it as well. So I'm Jennifer Rodriguez. I've met most all of you before, met you this evening, but I appreciate being here. I've worked with y'all for a long time, and appreciate being your advocate in Austin. And as y'all know, I work with John Kroll. He gets all the hard questions because he's not here and because he's a tax expert, which is where a lot of our issues fall as of late. But I'm just going to give you a quick kind of review, real quick, of what was last session, the highlights, and then what's been going on in the interim period, and then leading up to what we can expect heading into the 90th legislative session. And so along those lines, our legislature is convening in 168 days on January 12th, 2027 for their 140-day legislative session. And so that's less than 6 months away. That's less than, well, just over 3 months until bill filing starts. So bill filing is the first Monday after the November general election. And so we'll see a lot of bills filed starting November 9th. Review of that 89th session, the dominant issue was our $388 billion state budget, property tax relief, and y'all know that'll be coming up again, and then education savings accounts, and then the disagreement between our leadership and the governor and lieutenant governor over the regulation of THC products. And so there were a lot of other things. There were 8,700 plus bills filed, so a lot of things were there, but those were kind of the highlights that seemed to get a lot of traction throughout the session and beyond. And then after session, and this is always interesting to folks on my side of this, is the attrition that we see. And so this, coming up into this session, we're gonna have at least five new senators, and several from this area. So Brian Birdwell resigned in May following his appointment to a position in the Trump administration. And State Representative and former Mansfield Mayor David Cook is going to be on the ballot against Democrat Amy Martinez-Salas in November. That heavily leans Republican. And then Brandon Creighton, he was Montgomery County legislator who resigned last fall to become the chancellor at Texas Tech University. And there was a special election just a few months ago, so his replacement, Brett Ligon, the former Montgomery County DA, has replaced him. So I like all the local government people potentially filling in spots. And then Kelly Hancock resigned last summer, and he has been replaced in a special election by Lockheed Martin machinist Taylor Remmett. And that was a surprise upset, if you will. It was a special election in January. There will be a rematch with Lee Wamsgans in November for that seat. But he is the senator right now. And then Mays Middleton is retiring from the Texas Senate. He's represents the area down toward Galveston, and he is running for Attorney General. He will be running against Senator Nathan Johnson, and the tricky part in that is Senator Johnson is not giving up his seat because he's not on the ballot. So he gets a free run at this. Mays Middleton, if he loses, he's done. Johnson returns to the Senate. And then the final one was Senator Robert Nichols, who has headed up the Transportation Committee for many, many years. He was a tech stop commissioner before he was a state legislator. And State Rep Trent Ashby is the front runner in November to replace him. So what we see here is more than half of our, they call them their house trained, so most of them are coming from the House, the potential replacements. Just by comparison, in last session we had 3 new senators, the session before that we had 5, so 5 kind of tracks with where they're going. The current composition then is 18 Republicans and 12 Democrats with the 1 Birdwell vacancy. So that may go 19-12 or it may go 20-11 depending on how things turn out in November, but it's probably going to stay one of those 2 numbers. In the House, we've got 88 Republicans and 62 Democrats, and as of now, we can expect at least 25 new House members, which again tracks. There's going to be more than that for November, but right now there are 25 for certain that will not be returning, whether they were volunteered or they were voluntold by voters in March. But just a side note on this, so I said 88, 62, so the numbers there are pretty wide, but the last Trump administration midterm in 2018, we saw 12 House seats flip from Republican to Democratic. So that shrinks, if that happens this time, that shrinks that to 76, 74. So that will be interesting. Now, many of those seats flipped right back in 2020, but it still was a big change. And then our congressional district will have at least 12 new faces in 2027 due to retirements and resignations and primary defeats. So, of course, all of this, the headline of all of this going in November is that top race, the U.S. Senate race with Attorney General Paxton and State Rep James Talarico headlining that, and really a lot of people below drafting off of that is what we can expect with the voter turnout. And I can tell you, it's very real. Everything you read on all that is very real. People are very energetic, and so that will definitely inform how a lot of what I just talked about, how it shapes out. Because after that race, then you're going to have the federal congressional races, and then you're going to have on your ballot governor, lieutenant governor, et cetera. This is a year when all of our statewide, with just very few exceptions, like railroad commissioner, and we have one of those on the ballot, but with very few exceptions, all of our statewide are on the ballot. And so Governor Abbott and Lieutenant Governor Patrick are both seeking their 4th consecutive term. If Abbott is successful and is reelected to his 4th term and serves it out, he will be the longest serving governor in Texas history. That's previously held by former Governor Rick Perry, who served 14 years. So Abbott doesn't even have to get the full term before he will achieve that. But that is where we're going with the votes. And then this interim, so where we are right now, and this has kind of been a trend under Abbott and Patrick. For many years, our interim activity of the legislature started like at the end of summer, and they got their assignments, and they did a full 15-month review and investigation of issues leading into the next session. That has really shrunk under their leadership. For a number of reasons, maybe style, maybe we've had a lot of special sessions, so they just don't get into the interim until those complete. But it's shrunk significantly. So the lieutenant governor started issuing his interim assignments this past January. He followed up with more a few months later, and then just yesterday he added some religious liberty and online child safety pertaining to gaming and a few other issues. The House got their assignments in March. The House is kind of slowly getting into it. Land and Resource met last week. A lot of your colleagues from other cities were actually in Austin testifying on some land use type bills that were passed last session, as well as some zoning regulations. So there's been a little bit of discussion on issues, but again, those were really reviews. There wasn't anything new added except the people that supported it still supported it, the people that opposed still opposed. And then this week has been really busy. Senate Finance has been meeting yesterday, today, Business and Commerce, a lot of activities going on. And so, again, previously what we saw was these committees would issue an interim report, maybe by December, early January, and that would really inform what the legislature might move forward with. I will tell you that still happens some. A lot of times they issue an interim report. If they don't, it's not unheard of now. It used to be like, oh my gosh, you can do your homework, you can turn the report. It's not that deep anymore. So also, it seems more than ever the agendas of both the House and Senate are very much shaped by leadership, and not so much the interim committees taking place during that period. So the big issues that we're spending a lot of time on in the interim are data centers and fraud, waste, and abuse. Those are and property tax relief, because the governor and lieutenant governor both said that's going to be a priority, and they've issued or outlined their plans, a little more detail maybe from lieutenant governor than the governor, but they'll have to come together at some point. So we can expect more property tax relief. I'm not sure what that's going to look like yet. I will say it seems like the lieutenant governor's is easier to follow, a little more direct. But then data centers, they're coming at it from every angle, whether today or yesterday in Senate Finance, it was from the sales tax exemption that is creating a huge budgetary concern, because the proliferation of these data centers really upticked since the pandemic. And then the other committees are looking at it from the perspective of water and electricity, infrastructure usage. So, and then of course you've got, here other communities are having a lot of community input on folks coming out and asking for their local elected officials to take action, and they're telling them we can't. So there will be a lot of data center bills filed, but I think there will probably ultimately be one big data center bill. And then with fraud, waste, and abuse, that's coming a lot. That's kind of the new DOGE. They just kind of renamed DOGE, and they're looking at it mostly at this point from the perspective of Health and Human Services contracting, and because that's kind of the largest one, and then just other state procurement. So right now it seems to be focused on state level of fraud, waste, and abuse, and how to tackle it. And I will say here, we had last session in the House, they created basically a DOGE type committee that Chairman Capriglione ran, and he's not returning to the legislature, and he was also kind of the tech go-to, if you will, in the House for sure. And so we kind of have a huge void on a lot of those issues. It'll be interesting to see who emerges to be the voice, especially in the House on those type of issues. Make sure I didn't miss anything here. And then the other thing I'll just tell you that's ongoing is all of the state agencies right now are submitting their legislative appropriations requests. They do this about this time every year. Then later in the fall, they'll go up before the Finance and Appropriations Committees to kind of lay out what they're requesting. The governor, lieutenant governor, and speaker have directed them to start at a 3% reduction from their current appropriation levels, with some exceptions on that. And so that leads us to to where y'all are with your legislative priorities. I've looked at them. The one that is there at the top, and I can see it over Kim's shoulder still, is the street maintenance. And y'all know I have been working on this since 2019 when it was first filed, and I can't believe we're here 8 years later, because nobody opposes this, and it's passed the Senate easily 4 consecutive sessions, and I feel confident it will again. It was on the calendar last time, but there's a lot of strategy when you're in May and your bill's getting on the calendar, and you don't want to be on that last one, and unfortunately where we fell is where it was. But y'all have got a lot of good issues that you put together there, and I think that it's probably best for me to go ahead and take questions from y'all on anything I mentioned, or if we want to dive into that.
Let's take some questions first and
Okay.
then go from there.
Yeah.
Jim, I think you had a...
Sure. On the education funding and the property tax increases, is there ever any mention or discussion of indexing any caps to inflation? Or
Yes.
indexing the allotment per child, on the education side for inflation, and then indexing, the cap on property taxes to inflation?
Yeah, everything's on the table so yes is the short answer. Whether, it's beyond me what direction folks may go, but as far as the education on the allotment, I don't think they're gonna be addressing that next session. I think if anything, there's gonna be some tweaks on the education savings accounts, because I think they're seeing some things that they might need to do, and so discussions are had, but whether they're by the right people or not. it's hard to say.
So, because obviously the 3.5% cap without an election, we've, I think, been really prudent on our spending, and we've got a AAA bond rating, one of only 8 cities in the state that do, so everyone else seems to think that we've got a pretty prudent approach. But, 3.5%, 8 years ago isn't worth, in terms of dollar value, what it is today. So, that's actually a more severe cap than it appears. Has there ever been a serious effort or a serious discussion about indexing anything like that to inflation? Or are they afraid that then no one will have to come back to them every other year?
I'd have to go back and look to see how far things got on the floor. These discussions take place during, work sessions, committees, or behind closed doors. But the governor is definitely, part of his plan is trying to tighten hear more local government spending through more maybe lowering to get voters in the door a little bit quicker on when they can give approval before y'all are able to do things. So that's what I'm talking about, you know, Lieutenant Governor and Governor's plan have not merged. And again, we haven't seen legislation, we've seen a lot of campaign information. And so after November, I think typically our governor and lieutenant governor have laid out kind of their top 10 priorities, and they'll do that December, January. The governor typically will do it during his State of the State, very specifically. He might leak some out before that, but that really indicates to us what they want to see done. And they're very good at making sure they can at least fill the box with some legislation on each of their priorities. It may not be exactly what they thought it was in the beginning.
And on the data centers, I mean, I understand that some of the sales tax abatements are coming back to bite them a little bit, but, I mean, it seems like the construction of those things and the businesses behind them are probably some of the most highly capitalized, fluid entrepreneurial companies we have in the country. So they're already going to closed loop systems on the water usage, and then they're even now looking at modular nuclear generation for each of them, and then selling their power back onto the grid. Is there any way that we could push for those kinds of requirements, or some kind of incentives for, you know, modular nuclear generation or a closed loop system, so that it would truly address, I mean, in theory, the nuclear units would actually reduce power costs because they would be dropping so much of the power off of that onto the grid.
Yeah, I mean, I see a lot of the topics you're just discussing specific to data centers like closed loop, that those seem to be, everybody seems to be agreeable to. And so I think that you're gonna see a bill that has a regulatory framework on some of that, and then separately, or in part of that bill as well, again, I think there's gonna be a big data center bill. There will be something to rein in or tighten on the sales tax exemption. I mean, they're saying to do away with it completely. They have concerns about how or whether it's being audited post-implementation. And so I think that the items you're saying are definitely part of the discussion.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Appreciate what you're doing.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, it's very broad feedback right now, but it's just hard when we don't have a
No, I
bill
get it.
to
Yeah,
work
there's
off
nothing on
of.
paper yet.
Yeah, but it'll be coming.
Yeah, no, I understand. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bijou?
Thank you, Mayor. Good to see you.
You
Thank
too,
you.
thank you.
Based on your lobbying effort to the state legislator, we put together a document every 2 years. What are the items made progress or we've been successful? Do you have a list? You mentioned one of them that you made to the calendar last year for the street maintenance. Do you have any progress that made throughout this past 5 years or 8 years?
Yeah, I can certainly go back and look for you. What a lot of what y'all have done, which is like most cities, is you're playing defense, right? So it's not making a list. It's bills that Coppell worked on with other cities across the state to make sure they didn't advance, or, you know, maybe we helped get them tweaked. And so that's something we definitely do, whether it's working with TML or NTC or other groups. Even a lot of times you're together with even the counties. It's just a local government issue. So a lot of your efforts are defensive, and we certainly get a list of that. And then because you play so much defense, I mean, again, 8,700 plus bills filed last session. And my take on that is we're not going to see that reduced now because of data centers, and we can all sit down and write a bill in a few minutes and then they turn it in. You're going to continue to, with 140 days, there's going to be a lot more defensive efforts. So things like protecting our sales tax sourcing here and trying to advance the street maintenance, those are kind of your proactive efforts. And then now, if we are going to talk about a special district, that will be, I mean, those three that will take most of your advocacy time. And I think appropriately so, because most of the other issues, they're not just going to be Coppell centric, right? If it's affecting y'all, it's affecting a lot of other cities. But I can pull together a list for you.
Okay.
I'll do
Very
that.
good. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah.
Mesh.
Thank you, Mayor. Jennifer, thanks for the presentation. I'm assuming that you're involved in helping us with the special district definition for Old Town. Are there any challenges that you see? Is there anything else we should be doing to make sure that we have success with that?
Yeah, so I've been in several meetings now we've had, but most of the work right now, I'll tell you, is being done on y'all's side, right? Your team is preparing the language, identifying the different boundaries and description of what the project is. And then John Kroll and I are going to be taking it, and we've had the preliminary conversations with your local legislators' offices, but we will be taking it to them and asking them to have it put in draft form for a bill. And it absolutely has to have their approval. I mean, this will be considered a Coppell, a local bill, and so bills like that, anywhere in the state, they do not advance unless you're a local House and Senate member.
So will you create the first draft that goes to Senator Parker and Representative Hernandez?
No, your staff is doing that, and then we take it, and yeah, yes, there you go. There's the experts over there. They can get in the weeds on it.
Okay.
But I'll take that product, and then what I'm doing is making sure that it gets drafted, gets out of Ledge Council timely, so we can get it filed and then help usher it through that process during session. At this point, I don't have any knowledge of any reason why there would be an issue. Most legislators that, if that's not their community, again, they support it because their local House and Senate member do.
And does it matter that this, whatever we file, have a low number, or it does not matter?
No, so I'll tell you, that works both ways. People will tell you low bill numbers matter, and then people will tell you they don't. I can tell you both ways, right? If you're, I mean, we know House Bill and Senate Bill 1 are always the budget, right? So remove those. But if you're Bill 2 through 15, you got a really good shot at passing, because that means you're a priority of the Lieutenant Governor or the Speaker or maybe Governor. But, beyond that, it really matters who's filed it. I mean, you can get a bill filed on the deadline, and depending on who filed it and how quickly it gets a hearing, it can still advance. So that's there's also bills, if you filed because somebody just pulled out the night before and you're scrambling to find somebody, and you have a freshman with not a lot of contacts is filing it, that low bill number is probably going to be in trouble.
So correct me if I'm wrong.
High bill number, sorry.
A lot of it does rely on who files it and the content. Is it well-written? Is it thoughtful? Is it meaningful? So the other thing she didn't actually come out and say, there's kind of a schedule that all of this stuff has to happen in, and we're a little early to actually start. It's too early to file anything. So all we've really done, especially with the special district, is we've made Cassandra and Tan Parker aware, and they're very aware of both of them. So that's how you start to move into the system.
Yeah, and I mean, I think any chance that whenever y'all are interacting with them at local events and chamber events, et cetera, just reminding them that that's going to be a priority coming, and the street maintenance, and thanking them. I mean, they both worked hard on that street maintenance, for example, last session, and it was not due to lack of effort at all on their part. Yeah, please plug their ear, because then when we come, then they're like, oh yeah, my council member was, reminding me of this importance.
It's better for them to know about it before Jennifer presents it to them. And I think in the special district and the street road maintenance, both of those are going to be very familiar with. I had a question on the revenue cap side. I mean, of the property tax caps are bad enough, but the revenue caps could be, they sound so good, the sound bites are so great that I guess I get a little worried about those. So do you have any thoughts on revenue caps and where we're going to go with that one this year or next year?
Yeah, I mean, it will certainly be discussed, and I think out of Abbott's office primarily. It's hard to say. I mean, cities have had a lot of really good testimony on why these things should not be put in place. I know that y'all probably agree, at the end of the day, sometimes that doesn't matter, but I think you have to keep at that and keep giving the examples, especially in public safety, you know, arenas, areas like that. But it's really hard to say right now, Mayor, but I think after November, we're gonna get more specifics from all of the leadership on, you know, it's gonna be a bit of a safe space after elections to get more specific on the details.
Thank you. Don?
This is more of a general, sort of a regional question. So Tan is now transportation chair, is that correct? So that's actually good for North Texas. 'Cause,
Yes.
I mean, Nichols was great, but it's now actually a North Texas guy. Is Craddock, do we think Craddock is gonna get reappointed? Or, I mean, he's chair currently on the House side for
Right.
transportation.
And this is just me speculating, right? So I think that if all things remain the same today with Speaker Burrows returning, I think that there's a very good chance he will be chair of transportation. You know, they
Okay.
share that West Texas mentality kind of
Right.
life. And so if he's not, I think he'll still be chair of something. I mean, he's the most senior member of the legislature. But, I mean, he'll be the first to tell you, he doesn't use any technology. He is very old school in a lot of his approach, even in the way he runs his committee. But I think that, yeah, if all things being the same today, then I'd say yes.
With all the turnover that the North Texas delegation has had, are we sort of at a disadvantage? Is this region at a disadvantage? I mean, I guess on transportation, for example, I guess it's Tan and Royce, so we
Right.
have two leaders from North Texas that are in charge of that committee, but I know in the past there's been a lot of turnover in North Texas, and therefore North Texas hasn't had great representation, or not experienced representation, I should say. Do you see that changing? Do you
Yeah.
see?
I don't see that being a handicap right now. I mean, the
Okay.
change always happens. I mean, even like I just described, if we've had, after this session, we'll have turned over almost half the Senate, right,
Yeah.
over a 6-year period. And it happens even larger numbers in the House. So it's hard to say that that will have a detrimental effect. Again, it's one of those things that a lot of people like to just angle to their advantage, like, oh no, we're not gonna have, you know, anybody. And so, you know, change is just what we have to deal with, especially on our side. We just, it's like, I always equate the first day of session, or when they appoint committees, like it's like the first day of school and you're getting your teacher's name and you get excited, like, okay, it's gonna be a challenge, here we go. And I don't think that'll be any different. But I'm very excited about Senator Parker, and he's very excited. He retained part of the committee staff from Senator Nichols, so there's a lot of institutional knowledge there. And then his staff is amazing. And the gentleman that is overseeing his transportation policy has moved over to the committee. And they're having a hearing next month in Austin on, they've got several things on the agenda, but, well, the one that's standing out to me is autonomous vehicles, because you'll have so much of that up here in North Texas. But they've got multiple other issues they're taking up.
Yeah. One other question, you mentioned a while ago, you listed 3 things that you thought from our priorities that were gonna sort of take most of our advocacy. What were those again?
The street maintenance,
Okay.
right, that's kind of my ongoing
Right,
thing. And then this special district.
okay,
And then just protection of the sales tax sourcing.
okay. I
Yeah,
just wanna
and-
make sure I had that, cause
Yeah.
you're right, we're gonna have to focus on what do we really think is important, so I just wanna make sure
Yeah,
I get your
and-
opinion.
And I mean, y'all can see the common thread in all those is the tax code, right?
Yeah.
Perhaps there's ways, I mean, there are ways, whether they work out favorably is more difficult to predict at this time, but maybe to steer one or more of those bills away from certain committees, it might be more helpful and give it a fresh set of eyes from other folks to look at it. You know, there's things that I'm responsible for to try and see if we can do that.
Okay, thanks.
Mesh?
Thank you, Mayor. Jennifer, on local control, since we are a smaller city, is there an opportunity for us to partner with larger cities to fight to retain local control?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you know, that's probably TML's probably #1 thing every session, right? And they're always looking for new cities to come up so that it doesn't just appear that it's the Houston, Dallas, Austin, San Antonio thing. They want to show that even though you say you're going after these big guys, you're actually affecting us that do the things, things the right way. So I mean, and I keep in contact with those folks a lot, but they're always asking if you can bring your folks up to testify. And so we can make sure that I work with staff to do a better effort of like, hey, here's a bill. Might be if you've got a council member or staff that wants to come out and testify. I mean, y'all know sometimes it takes your day away. You can't get back, but it's very helpful. It's probably valuable for you too, just to see that process. But they're always looking for partners. And then NTC as well, which I know y'all are really active in. They are the same. I mean, local controls their number one thing for their city and county constituencies. And I'm looking forward to y'all coming up during session. It's always a interesting day.
You're talking for a Coppell Day, yes.
Yes.
That's always fun.
Yes.
I was
Well,
thinking-
anytime, you can come up
I
anytime.
thought you were talking about testifying.
Oh, well, that too, I mean, for sure. And, and the proper way to do that, of course, not throw you out there, like, we'd let your legislators' offices know, hey, you're coming to testify on this bill, maybe they can help move you up in the lineup by going and whispering in the ear of the chairman. That's always helpful.
Anything else?
I'm good.
You're good?
Thank
Well,
God,
Well,
yeah.
Don is good, so we can adjourn.
Okay, and then final
So
comment.
you said you had some other stuff you wanted to talk about, so, yeah, you said
Now
you
you have to
could
make
do
up
this.
She was about to say final
You may have
comment, so-
covered it, you may have covered it during our
I
discussion.
may have, and I can't see without my glasses, so I may have left something off, but I'll follow up. But, shoot, no, I forgot what I was gonna say.
I'm sorry, I
There,
distracted you.
Yeah, I'm that age now.
Well, we can just chat a while and you'll remember it eventually.
Yeah, I will.
I did have a question, and I can't remember which committee he serves on, but our nemesis for sales tax,
Well,
is he still
he
gonna
would
be
be
there?
the chair of Ways and Means.
Is he, again?
I mean, as we stand here today, yeah, absolutely. And again, he released the bill, but from my perspective as your primary advocate in Austin, it was too late. And they know that.
That's Morgan Myers out of Highland Park.
Question on that one. Do you have a feel, is that one gonna gain legs in this session? I mean, I know it's gonna get proposed again, but you think there's a big push, or are there other things that are gonna be more of a priority?
It's an issue very unique to y'all. I mean, and that's the thing, whenever I go, anytime you have a bill in trouble, you start looking to find another vehicle for it. There is no bill in the last 3 sessions filed that touched on this part of the code where we could attach it. So we were really out there on our own. But so it doesn't have a problem as far as policy. There's nobody opposed to this. It has been, it's just been caught up in some of your other issues that go in that committee, and therefore moved behind it.
Are you talking about the street bill or the tax? I was talking about the sales tax sourcing.
Oh,
The
I'm
sales
sorry.
tax sourcing.
I apologize.
No, I wasn't clear on that. Do you think that,
Oh, well,
has
I mean,
wind
even
behind it?
yesterday in Senate Finance, the words came up. I think it's just a continuous education effort.
Yeah.
Now, and this is what I was gonna say, we have a new comptroller. Whether it's acting comptroller Huff Hines moves on in November, he's making a lot of changes, a lot of staff. Even the folks testifying yesterday said, I've already submitted my resignation, the top deputy. So there's gonna be a lot of changes over there, and we don't know what staff's gonna be left that is really pressing that. We've always heard that was,
Staff
bottom up.
driven?
Yeah,
Okay.
and so, I think that there's homework to do on that, and I know John is already having those conversations, and we're all trying to get to know who may be staffing, acting comptroller Huff Hines, because that will likely carry over. There's a lot of people in Austin scrambling to help develop those relationships, but that's going to inform a lot of that discussion, and I will defer to John because he's
Yeah.
worked so much on that. But there's just more educating to do, and we even saw that yesterday when they were talking about data centers and sales tax sourcing came up, and it was like, wait, stop. But
Yeah, well, that's what for once, this is one time I want them to get distracted everywhere else, because I know it comes up every year, but if you can find other priorities for them to worry about, then this one
yeah.
doesn't.
And that therefore may inform, if the chairman stays the same, you know, whether has any interest in it anymore,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, okay, thanks.
Kevin?
Kind of piggybacking onto that, do you think with the staff turnover in the comptroller's office, does that put us in more of an advantage just because we are aware of this? And I guess following that kind of line of thought, if the staff turns over, there's nobody there really that's really pushing for that hard. So what does that dynamic look like for an advantage for us?
Yeah, I think we're gonna look at it as an advantage, right? Because it's just an opportunity to educate more folks, go tell our story that may not be aware, right? People may be elevated, they may bring in people, and it's really all uncertain at this point. But I think that we're looking at it from the perspective of there's gonna be change, and so regardless, we need to go in early and let them know what this issue is and how it's affected you all specifically and the other cities, give them background on the lawsuit. I think it will be a very different office than we've seen in the last 10 years, for sure.
I guess, and a follow-up to this, because the original, it was an interpretation of a rule. So if that interpretation, let's say that it goes back to the way it was, obviously there's some things we probably have to do in the court, but does that pretty much just go away if that's the case?
I'm gonna have to defer to your legal team on that. I'm not sure what the best course, like if y'all.
Yeah. Just mainly because the wheels are in motion.
It could possibly move the lawsuit, but I don't trust him.
That's fair.
The comptroller's office.
Yeah. Just curious kind of how that works when a new administration kind of comes into that office. I've never experienced that
Well, the
before.
rule itself was adopted in accordance with the APA, so the rule's the rule. How they interpret the rule that's written may change slightly, but we're focused on the rule itself.
Yes.
Yeah,
Unless they propose a change, I would think that we keep moving on until we get a resolution.
Absolutely.
And just for any number of reasons, it's probably to our advantage to go in and introduce ourselves, Coppell, because we have some issues, as much as we can, because there is a lot going on this side, but I think it's always helpful.
Let staff be, I'm assuming, obviously we have to get through the election, that staff, do you have any time of when that would potentially be in place? Would it be before the session starts on that?
Yeah, especially if Huffines is the successor come November, then it'll be very clear, people have jobs that have been in a position right now.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they'll move forward. Officially, they don't take office and pay, et cetera, until January, but, they're there now.
All right, thank you very
Yeah,
much.
you're welcome. Yeah, that one, the comptroller and the attorney general are the two biggest positions that we know will have new people. Now, obviously, we're gonna have a new ag commissioner as well, a new railroad commissioner, and a lot of new judges throughout the state, but those are the two really big ones, I think, that we overlap with in a lot of our circles.
Anybody else?
Ron, are we good?
Well, Don's good.
Are we good, Ron?
I'm good. Yes, we're good.
So,
Thank you all so
listen, thank you very much for coming up, and you get to leave here before dark time, so.
Yeah, appreciate that. All right, y'all have a good evening.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, appreciate your good work.
Thanks, Jennifer.
So regarding the platform, just look for some direction on potentially things that I'd like to pull off. I know, for example, we have alcoholic beverage sales on here, which potentially could be contradictory to our special district. So just a suggestion there, as well as things that we would like to see added. So this back page, the suggestion additions, talks about e-bikes are on here, as well as public meeting decorum, municipal budget timeline, data center development, and some other things. So if there's anything that you would like to see added and or removed from this current platform, That will be helpful, and then we'll go back and edit it and bring it back to the next council meeting for formal adoption.
Kevin?
Honestly, you mentioned the one that had, it kind of was a big question mark in my head. It just, I don't know, in my mind, it maybe just needs to be tweaked a little bit, like to say like maybe community-wide, if we're gonna focus our efforts on a special district, that, you know, just maybe putting some clarifying language that we're not advocating for community-wide. Now, I don't know what that looks like on a, is that even necessary on a legislative agenda and, you know, as far as this goes, but just, I'm kind of thinking out loud, just.
I mean, in my mind, I raise my hand to say that the alcohol beverage sales, as described here, is important, and to me, it was not contradictory to the special district. Is it the use of word park? Because there are no schools in the old town. So why do you think there's a contradiction there?
Potentially just putting easing restrictions, knowing that, opposing easing restrictions, so we can re-wordsmith that just a little bit, knowing that the purpose of our special district is to, correct.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with the language. Maybe all we need to do is, with the exception of a special district. So,
Let her
okay.
work it out.
Yeah.
But I agree that there is, when I reread it, we do oppose easing restrictions near schools, parks, and churches.
Yeah.
So the only area that we have is really Grapevine Springs Park, so that would be close by.
Mhm.
So that might be what we might need to think that
Yeah.
somehow or another.
Yeah.
Let's let Callie kind of work on that one. Don?
Is this one just a holdover from past legislative sessions? Is this really even being discussed in Austin right now?
That might be a question for you, Jennifer. I mean, they really haven't touched that.
I mean, does this really
in a
even
while.
come up as a hot issue or button or
I wouldn't say
anything?
hot topic. I mean, in the past, there's definitely been, I mean, that's why it's here. There's been legislation.
I'm just curious if it really isn't a priority of anybody in Austin. Does it matter if it's on our list?
Well, what it does is it allows our senator and our representative to know where we stand without them having to call us and ask.
Okay.
So, I mean, I guess, I look at it as if we agree with it, it doesn't hurt to have it on the list.
Okay.
So what we can do is keep it on our larger platform, but then when we come down to the priorities, correct, it might not be a priority, so maybe we keep it off of this one, but at
Definitely.
least we have the stance in our
Okay.
application.
I mean, you know, like oil and gas wells, we haven't had that one come up in a while. That was, what, 12 years ago when it last really surfaced? But the points are still very valid, so it's,
Well, yeah, and I guess I was saying, we don't have every stance that the city takes on every issue out there. So, I mean, like the ones that are not as relevant, if they're not really on Dan or the governor's priority list, does it matter? That's all, and this is, it's counting heads on the, angels on the head of a pin right now, so it doesn't matter.
Safety or straight?
Huh?
I said safety or straight pin? You said you were counting angels
Straight
on the
pin,
head of a pin?
straight pin.
Okay.
But I will say that if it's not on our platform, both Representative Garcia Hernandez and Senator Parker do a great job of reaching out to us and
Sure.
asking.
Sure.
So usually they check this first, that's one less kind of email they have to send to us.
Okay.
But they do a great job of sending it out for our.
and when they reach out, then it's a scramble to get our, our quote official opinion on a
Okay.
topic.
I'm
Yes,
good.
there were a couple of 1 AM opinion writings on my end last session.
Kevin?
Kind of looking on the, that suggested additions page. Obviously, we've talked a lot about e-bikes and things like that. Do we have any allies, ally communities? Obviously, I know we went to TML, we did that, but what is that picture looking like to be able to regulate them separately from traditional bicycles?
So it is a hot topic in public meetings. I am able to track every single public meeting that comes up, and it is the exact same, everyone's having the same discussion. It's an issue and no one can do anything about it. So I imagine that a city might bring it forward, or there are other professional organizations that are kind of in that arena that will bring forward legislation that we could also kind of tack onto and say
Okay,
we
'cause
support the other.
I would definitely want us to, if there is a group of cities or things like that, that, if we could, I definitely want to, support legislation that allows us to do that. So, I mean, that's a big, that's one of the biggest things that we've heard from is, it's just a public safety item in general, so.
I'm gonna speak on behalf of her. All of the Metroplex mayors that I talk to are strongly of the same opinion that we need to regulate them differently. I mean, it is a consensus opinion that they need to be handled differently.
But, I guess, so what I'm asking is that do we know if someone is taking the lead on that? I know that there's chatter and stuff.
Yeah, not at this time. I went back and looked today to even see, the closest thing we had last session was Sarah Eckhart, senator in Austin, filed related legislation, but it wasn't really on the regulation from the municipal standpoint. It was more like tracking the companies that put these out there. So it probably needs to be a different member, but I think that it's reaching Austin as well. Like, I think there will be something filed. The problem you have is they've spent so much time, preempting you on things similar to this, just different areas. So it would be strange for them to then allow you to regulate something when they're. But if enough of the right people from the communities are reaching out to them,
And I kind of go back to just like, I don't know if, I'm not saying that we need to be the person that's taking the lead, because obviously you take the lead on something, maybe that, somebody doesn't like that, there's the game, it's the game that's played. But I definitely would want to know, like, if we are all thinking it, who's taking a leadership position to push it forward? That's just my thoughts and ideas about that.
Okay, got Brianna first and then Bijou.
Yeah, and that was probably the big one on my list as well. I guess, again, Jennifer, to your point, there isn't anyone currently taking the lead, so the question is there an opportunity for us to do anything? And it doesn't even have to be legislation. It could be change of definitions. I don't know how that necessarily works, maybe there is legislation, but I feel very strongly about this issue. I don't want us to sit back and say there's nothing we can do, because I know there is something we can do. And then I think the other thing is going to be, if we're not going to get traction in Austin, what do we start doing from a city standpoint? So I think we just need to be proactive, because I think what's happening is you've got, what I'm understanding from our chief of police is, you've got situations where people are buying an e-bike that maybe fits one definition, but then kids are altering it to make it fit into a different definition, more of a motorcycle, for example, because they're able to buy a faster
It's like buying a
engine
bump.
online, yes.
A bump for a
Yes,
gun.
and kids are talking about it. So all that to say is, why can't we be a leader in this space?
Well, and all it takes is 4 of you to say, yes, we're gonna take this on. That's gonna add to her workload, and it's gonna add to their workload. And to Kevin's point, it could come back to bite you in another area, but we certainly can, if 4 of you guys wanna do it, we can certainly take that on.
I don't know, I want to do it, and I guess my question is, I'm willing to take that risk. I don't know exactly how it'll bite us. I'm sure maybe it will, but it's called politics, right? So I think safety is a huge priority for our community and other communities, and I guess let's be a leader, not a follower.
Jim, I'm sorry.
Bijou.
Bijou
Yes,
is next.
so we did take an effort in last TML meeting. You had an effort to bring the e-bike, but that effort failed. TML didn't want to take it up.
No, it didn't pass the vote because one person from Plano stood up and said stuff that wasn't true.
Yeah, but they didn't take it up as an issue to proceed.
That's because the members of TML that were there voted not to proceed.
Correct.
That's correct.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So we did take an effort. Anyway, that's what I was trying to say. My question to you is, you said the mayors the mayors that you spoke to have a favorable position to oppose this. What actions are they doing or taking?
That's, to Brianna's point, they're not.
Okay.
Everybody's
just
in a
talk.
wait and see mode.
There's nothing, nobody's doing anything is the point. Everybody wants something to happen, but nobody's doing anything.
And I'd hate for us to have to wait for a fatality to be a situation for us to then say, oh yeah, let's take a lead.
Now, I've discussed it with Cassandra, and I'm sure you have. I couldn't tell if she was willing to sponsor something. And Tan was lukewarm. I mean, he understood it. I think he would support it. I don't think he would sponsor it.
Can I ask Jennifer a quick question? Oh, sorry, you had other, sorry.
No, go ahead, it's all right.
No, because I think, and so I guess my question would be, I don't know where the guidance comes from, maybe it comes from you or Jennifer, but there could be a bill, right? So from a legislation standpoint, or maybe there's something, other effort that we're missing, and so I don't know what the opportunities look like, if it's changing definitions, if it does require a bill.
I've been looking at doing some stuff for y'all, I'm in the process and have been for about 6 weeks.
Okay.
Trying to define e-bikes by class, by modification. When you get into e-bikes, now you got go-karts and pocket bikes. And so I have this really long list of things that should not be on the sidewalk. I don't think a road bike, like I ride, should be on the sidewalk. That's not what they're built for. And the speeds are too high. And going 15 miles an hour on the sidewalk is dangerous. I will not ride on a trail. I would rather take my chances with the motor vehicle than ride a bicycle like I ride on a trail. It's dangerous. So we're looking at, if long as I treat the e-bike like the road bike, I'm willing to take some chances that maybe we can fit the eye hole or the keyhole, and that will be successful to regulate us.
At a city level?
Are you saying, yeah?
Yes.
Versus at the state? Okay, that's kind of what I'm trying to figure
At
out.
the state, I think definition changes. I don't think you'd allow an electric motor vehicle on, unless it's a mobile device for someone with a disability.
And just to follow up on that, I am actually in Senate Transportation staff meeting next week, and I will just bring up to ask if they're having conversations to see if there may be something out there. And then any legislation related, certainly that will, be reported up, and we can track it and follow it and get involved.
Thank you.
So if there's nothing going on formally in terms of a bill being introduced, should we take that on, to Brianna's point, should we take that on? Kevin?
So take it on meaning what? We propose a bill, or we do something locally?
No, we proposed the bill.
So I was gonna
Find a
say,
sponsor for it.
I would love, kind of to generate, like, make some, like ask some questions, see if there's anything
What the
kind of,
opportunity looks like.
percolating out there, if there is. I would say that if we have got still water, there's nothing going on, I think that would be an opportunity for us to take. But if there's something that we can support, or that's what I would like to see, because if there's something brewing, I feel like it'd be a little bit easier to get support. I'm not saying I don't want to
No,
take the lead,
agreed.
because
Yeah.
I agree with you. This is a big safety issue, and I just, in this area that I live right here, been so many close calls, so I feel very passionate about this as well. Somebody's gonna get killed, and so I would love to see if we can, get some allies and like-minded cities to band together if the time was right and we've exhausted all the options and stuff like that. And even, Bob, to your point, if there's something that you can find locally that we can do, I'm willing to kind of, not be on the extreme, but like kind of be out on the edge a little bit to say like, hey, we're gonna take a stand with this, but maybe also looking at a legislative approach as well. So that's just my thought. Like, I don't know if I'm ready to like sound the trumpet
No,
yet,
I
but
hear
like,
you.
let's go see what's out there.
Okay, got Bijou and Jim.
Thank you, Mayor. Bob, question for you.
Yes, sir.
So today's definition is e-bike 28 miles, less than 28 miles per hour, with a pedal on it, that's classified as a e-bike.
Yes, there's
That's
three
a-
classes of e-bikes. The first one is pedal assisted, the other two are throttle assisted. But there is a maximum top end speed as sold at retail. Johnny's buying the modifier kit and bumping that baby up to 40 miles an hour.
Okay, so my question for you is, in order to modify that definition, state legislature has to sponsor a bill, correct?
As it's defined now. What it says right now is you cannot treat e-bikes of any class different from bicycles. So what I'm attempting to do is define what a bicycle is for our local ordinance, like a road bike, what I call a gravel bike, an endurance bike, which is the one with curled handlebars on it that you just saw in the Tour de France. Those bikes don't, they can be on trail systems that are designed for bike traffic, but they don't belong on a sidewalk along Sandy Lake Road. So if I move those bikes onto the street and treat the e-bikes the same, and then define a child's bike as something other, which is, I think the measurement I've got is less than 26 inches from handlebar stem down. So that's small kid's bike, those are fine. Take everything else, put it on the street, and now I can treat the e-bikes just like the bicycles, and you gotta be on the street.
So
That's kind of what we sit around and brainstorm.
that's for our city, Coppell.
Yes.
But you also mentioned in the past discussion, some other cities made modification or created a new ordinance that was legally challenged.
I thought that they were illegal. It was written because they were conflict with state law. They just said they banned them, and they didn't ban bicycles. And I think that that violates the statute. But they went ahead and did it anyhow.
So what's been the result of that?
Right.
I don't know. I don't know
Nobody's
if they've been
challenged them.
sued. The tickets get dismissed. That's what happened.
So I saw something on social media, so immediately suspect, but it looked to be from our police department. And it said, well, this is an e-bike that's illegal on our streets, right? It looked more like a motorcycle. And then they also said the pocket bikes, little ones were illegal. So Chief Barton's just devising that in cooperation with you, or?
Yes, we're all working on this together.
Okay, so we've already taken that position.
We're working through all that to try to define it, because now there's hoverboards, which have a motor in them, the unit wheel thing that's motorized, that goes way too fast on the sidewalk. And so, if we're gonna do this, we've gotta take up all that.
But he'd already put out that flyer.
Right, it's there.
Yeah,
So
that's
The
pocket
point
bike, that's
is,
understated.
the pocket bike and the electric motorcycle are already outlawed, but these are the e-bikes, like, they were already in
Right,
that.
okay.
They're bumping up the
Okay.
e-bikes.
There's a gray
to
area.
be
Yeah.
basically as fast as a pocket bike.
Yes.
And I think other cities are consistent.
Okay, so what I think I'm hearing here is, Jennifer, if you would do your survey, listen to the colleagues, and then get back with Callie and let us know what you're hearing,
Yes, absolutely.
and we can decide
Right.
from that point.
I gotta think something's gonna happen. I mean, we're not the only city up in arms over this.
And we'll be happy to support them and go down, and that would be the best. If somebody else would take the lead,
Yeah.
we can come in and support them, and that would be the best thing that could happen for us.
To be clear, if we need to take the lead, I would be okay with that,
Right.
if no one else is taking it.
But I agree with Jim, I think somebody will. Of course, that's like somebody else is
It
gonna do
seems to
it.
be universally, all through North Texas, universally
Well,
concerned.
It's across the state, so it's happening consistently in public meetings, so we can track, so the platform we use, the AI platform, we can track all public meetings, all council meetings, board meetings, commission meetings across the entire state, and it's come up.
And I think as long as in parallel, we're listening to see what's happening, we're figuring out what we can do locally so that our police aren't handcuffed, right? And then also, yeah, no pun intended, haha. And then, I thought of that. And then what is due at the state, because the fatalities I read up on are in other states. And I don't know what has happened in the US. I mean, in the US, in Texas.
Yeah.
So,
Anyway. I mean, I guess one thing we could do is, I saw a guy on a bicycle. Do we have a helmet law? I mean, we could go scorched earth in enforcing it. At least that way, some kid going 35 miles an hour on an e-bike has less of a chance of sustaining a closed head injury.
It's the people who are
You know,
walking.
bicycle helmet.
Yeah, that's
You're
actually.
going
Yeah.
that fast.
And it's
Well, no, that's fair enough, yeah. But there's no helmet requirement in the state statute, though.
No.
Yeah.
We have one for those under, we're debating whether our statute says 15 or 16 for anyone under
It's
that
16.
age.
It's 16.
It's 16 and under, so it's
We need to
set,
fix our webpage then.
yeah.
Well, that's not my responsibility.
Dawn has something.
It's under 16.
So at the very least, this item needs to be added to the priorities, right? Okay.
Right.
Yes.
If
Nice
nothing, if
summary.
nothing else.
Good summary.
Thank
Right.
you, so
Yeah.
we're good now.
Wow.
Wrap it
At least it
up.
it got on the big list.
Don must be an engineer in training because he's,
I know, he's like helping.
We may be in a rabbit hole, so it's trying to pull us up.
No pun intended.
Anything else?
No, if there's no further direction, we'll take it, and
No.
update the platform.
All right.
Thank you.
Did,
No, I was just gonna ask, the suggested additions, are we saying that we're good with all of those suggestions?
I didn't hear anybody say take them out.
Perfect. Just a question.
Don?
I'm okay not having the first one,
Okay, I'll go.
but, I mean, that's my opinion.
Sales tax toward sourcing?
No,
No.
public meeting decorum.
Oh, yeah.
The others, I think I'm
Oh.
okay.
No, that's-
The municipal budget timeline was included in the TML platform, so.
Okay.
Mhm.
Do we need to look at this list? Or y'all will just revise this?
That's just the bullet card.
And figure out what's our
Yeah,
priority,
so,
okay.
so we'll revise the platform,
Got it.
and then we have more time on the priorities. Jennifer mentioned the top three, it sounds like there's consensus around that.
Okay,
And then we'll move this.
okay.
So,
I'm good with everything on here.
on number one, we were, through careful wording, Bob was able to create and you guys passed the referendum or the vote. They gave us the ability to do this, but at the state level, there isn't anything to assist a city in doing that. And especially the smaller cities have absolutely nothing to go on.
Okay, that's fine. I was opposed, I didn't vote for it the first time, so I'm being consistent.
Mindless instructions.
Not pushing for it again.
All right, anything else? Well, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you all.
Thank you.
All right, the time is 6:45 PM. We are going to recess from, hang on. We're going to reset, we're at the end of work session. We're going to move into the council chambers at 7:30. I have 3 questions for the group. These are extremely serious. Mark, are you up for the Grapevine, Grape Vest, Grape Stomp again?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right,
What is it?
it's in September the ninth?
I think it's
19th?
second or third weekend of.
Friday the 19th.
I did find out from our competitors that the key to winning is having very, very big feet.
Oh, wow. So he's saying you have big feet, Mark.
No, he and I were there, and I'm a size 7.5, so I'm not a good candidate. So I'm
Ivan's foot's 13.
what's that?
So Ivan has a 13.
Get Ivy
Jim,
out
where are
there.
you?
Where are you, Jim? Yeah.
You know, there's only so much information I can.
All right,
We'll
so,
do that in executive session.
I'll ask Bob, what size?
I would encourage you guys to, they make it is a fun event. And it is a lot of fun, and I really need to back out from doing it. My feet aren't big enough to do it. There was a group that won, we understand they had duck-type feet that they put on their feet to help them stomp better.
Well, that's cheating.
There's
Yes, it
Kevin.
was.
Cartoon feet, you need
But it won't
cartoon.
be the rules for the grape stomp are like pages long.
If you have to cheat at the grape stomp, you're a pathetic human being.
I agree.
Thank you
That
for,
is sad.
Mayor Wine.
That is just sad.
Okay, question number
Mayor
2.
Wine turned to vinegar.
all right. It is September the 19th.
September 19th.
19.
All right, second item.
Don's
I was-
looking at it. He's thinking, Don's thinking.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Don't worry, you're gonna hear more about this by email. I was going back through some old meetings, and I noticed that Mayor Hunt used to routinely report on her Metroplex mayor's meetings.
Yes.
We got away from it, but I haven't been, and I would be happy to report on it if you want to listen to it.
I
Yes.
think
Yes.
that would be
Okay.
interesting.
So we will add that to the rotating agenda. I'll be happy to do that. I don't know how it got dropped. The other one is, today we got an invitation to attend North Texas Commission's fly-in, and I saw that three, Brianna and I think Bijou have accepted to go.
I'm very interested in going, I just need to check my schedule.
That's fine. The reason I'm asking is I was assuming that we might have a quorum meeting problem, which is fine. We can cancel our meeting that night, but we need to know kind of early. So
Is that the first week in November?
it's November the 17th.
Oh,
It's around, in TML, right around there
The
too.
week
That's what I
before.
wanted to.
TML is the week before.
Where's TML this year?
It's in San Antonio.
So what-
10th, 11th, or the
What are the dates of TML?
11th, 12th, and 13th.
And, most likely I might be going to
I'd like to go to the
BC.
flying because I haven't.
I would be going to, I'll be joining you all to
So
BC.
we need to look at the real possibility that we won't have a quorum for that meeting. I plan to attend as well.
So our meetings would be the 10th and the November?
But that wouldn't be a meeting night.
That
The
wouldn't be a
17th?
meeting.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna
Be
say that.
The one before and the one after.
Yeah.
It's the TML week that's a meeting. Okay, I'm
Yep.
sorry, we don't have a quorum problem. Never mind. I counted wrong.
I'm glad
That's why I
to
was
stay
looking at
here
the
to help on
calendar.
the quorum issue.
Thank you.
And the 24th will be canceled anyway, right?
Yep.
Yes, I will bite the bullet for the quorum.
I know, I kept looking at my calendar going, I'm like, missing something.
All right, sorry about that. I counted weeks wrong.
Well, TML is the previous week.
Yes.
Does that conflict with our city council meeting?
No, TML starts Wednesday morning. All right, see y'all at 7:30.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everybody. The time is 7:30 p.m. We're here for the regular session of the Coppell City Council. Just as a reminder, persons wishing to speak during our citizens' appearance or the public hearings must sign their appropriate register outside the council chambers and list their address. This evening, we have Lizzie Waldrum of the Allied Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints here to give our invocation, and then we will recite the Pledge of Allegiance, so please remain standing. Liz?
Our dear Heavenly Father, thank thee so much for this beautiful day, and thank thee for this time that we have to come together and to counsel together about how to help this city, the city of Coppell. And Father, we pray that thy Spirit will be with us to help us to know what it is that thou would have us do and say to bless the lives of those who live here. And Father, please bless the council, that they will have wisdom and that they have clarity to know what to do. Father, we are so very grateful for thee, and we're grateful for those who have served for us, for this country. And we love thee, and we love our Savior, and we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. Just as a reminder, we do have Councilmember Mark Hill on Zoom, and if I forget to look up and see his hand raised, somebody please remind me. Mark, welcome.
Thank you.
Item number 6 on our agenda tonight is a proclamation, so I'd like to ask Corey Allen to come down and meet me at the front. Whereas the American with Disabilities Act, signed into law on July 26, 1990 by President George H.W. Bush, is a landmark civil rights law that enables and ensures people with disabilities to have equal access, opportunity, and protection under the law, fostering a more inclusive society wherever one can thrive. And whereas in Coppell, Texas, we recognize that our challenges do not define us, and the ADA empowers people with disabilities to fully participate in public life. And whereas over the past 3.5 decades, the ADA has expanded accessibility and inclusion through improvements in transportation, education, employment, and public accommodations, promoting greater independence and stronger communities. And whereas this anniversary is an opportunity to reflect on the experiences of people with disabilities and recognize the importance of advancing equality and inclusion to help ensure every person has the opportunity to thrive. And now, therefore, I, Wes Mays, Mayor of the City of Coppell, do hereby commemorate the 36th anniversary of the American with Disabilities Act and declare the month of July 2026 as the American with Disabilities Act Month in the City of Coppell, and acknowledge the contributions of individuals with disabilities and the benefits of promoting accessibility for everyone. In witness thereof, I've set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Coppell to be affixed this 28th day of July, 2026.
Thank you both.
Corey, would you like to say a few words about what we have going on?
So this is actually the cherry on top of all the fun we've been having this month. July 8th at the Cosby Library, we did a Celebrate Our Differences story time. We had 91 attendees. We had 6 panelists sharing their stories and experiences with a service animal. That was the best part, of course. And then on July the 18th at the Coppell Senior and Community Center, we had 25 vendors sharing disability resources. We had 3 presenters, and we had over 80 attendees to come and learn more about disability resources and what's here in DFW. So it's been a lot of fun.
Well, thank you for sharing with us, and I think Councilmember Neville's had a little something to say.
Thank you very much, Mayor. So I had the opportunity to attend the resource fair on Saturday, July 18th, and some may or may not know, my mother had recently had a medical event in her life where she now has a disability. And so it has been so refreshing to be able to know that in our community we have resources that are available. And the amount of people that showed up and the vendors that were there that were showcasing the programs, the activities, the resources that were available to families in our community was it was very inspirational. So, Corey, I just want to say thank you so much for all of your hard work in putting all of that together. I know you do a lot of amazing work in the community, with our ADA plan and things like that, but just really appreciate all of your efforts and the entire team that put that together. Just as someone who's going through something, like this, knowing that you're not alone and knowing that you've got people that are out there that can help you is incredibly reassuring. I think that's the best word. So thank you so much for all you do. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Here you go. And thank you for all the time and effort that you put in, and you've really made this place a better place to live. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Item number 7 on the agenda is our citizens' appearance. Persons wishing to speak must sign the register and list your address. Presentations by individuals shall be limited to 3 minutes each, during which time the speakers must remain at the podium, face forward, and address only the mayor and city council. Persons signed up to speak will be called in the order that they signed up. In order to maintain an orderly and respectful meeting environment to conduct the public meeting and business, speakers will adhere to the standards outlined in Ordinance 2025-1633. There will be no comments or deliberations from the City Council due to the Texas Open Meetings Records Act. We did have one person signed up to speak tonight, and that's Ms. Monica Ponda. Monica, name and address for the record, please.
Monica Panda, 114 Harbor Manors Drive. Hello, Council. My time starts now, okay. And the Mayor. So I live right behind McDonald's, and I've been here before, so you guys probably remember that. And I'm really, really excited that McDonald's construction is done, not for the reason that you think, because there have been so many times I've had to call them in, me, my neighbor, and the next door neighbor, about noise ordinances, at least 7 or 8 times. Sometimes they were responded to, sometimes the officer showed up, called me. But here's what I learned from that experience, and I'd like to share with you so the city can harness our data better. With that experience, I went and I asked for a PIR with all the noise complaints, odor complaints, business complaints, quality of life complaints that are in the city of Coppell. I was told that data is not available because we can do it by incident number, we can do it by date, we can do it by location if I have a specific incident, but this data is not available, which to me, as an IT person, is a simple report with filters. So I'm not sure why we're not using that. So every time an officer came in, they had no clue what had happened prior. They would come, they would talk to them, and go back. So we're wasting our city resources. We are not, there should be a flag which says, hey, this person has called 5 times for the same thing in the last 2 weeks. What are you gonna do about it? So I would request the city to be more proactive than reacting to individual complaints, because honestly, the quality of life is not what it used to be. I'm glad that it's over. We still have those 5:30 a.m. trash pickups. There was a delivery this weekend at 7 a.m. I don't know if it's delivery or they're still doing construction, but why are we not harnessing the data that is available to us? It's a simple drill down, it's filters, it's a Tableau report for those of you who are IT friendly, so that we can all do better. We say we're a community for a lifetime. Let's all live up to that with our systems and have this information available for you guys, for us, so we can all do better. And so I'm asking you guys to act on this just as an example, because this is not going to be the last time this is going to happen. And this is something that we should all be looking at anyway. Thank you.
Thank you for your time tonight. Item number 8 is our consent agenda. The consent agenda is routine in nature and is generally enacted in a single motion. These items have been previously approved through the budget or council actions. Any item may be pulled and considered separately. Full descriptions are available on the screen. We do have items 8A through 8H. Council, any questions or comments? Mayor Pro Tem Walker.
Thank you, Mayor Mays. I move that we approve the consent agenda items A through H.
Thank you. Seconded by Councilmember Carroll. All in favor?
Walker and Ahosa Smith, Carol Nevels, Prem Kumar, Matthew Hill.
Thank you very much. She was very nervous about getting everybody's names right tonight, so thank you. Item number 9 is consideration of approval of a resolution of the City Council of the City of Coppell approving the resolution of the Coppell Recreation Development Corporation authorizing the issuance and sale of Coppell Recreation and Development Corporation sales tax revenue refunding bonds and enacting other provisions related to the subject. Ms. Tien.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Council. This item requests Council's approval of a resolution approving a resolution that was approved by the CRDC Board on July 20th. The resolution approved by the CRDC Board authorized the refunding of the CRDC Sales Tax Revenue Refunding and Improvement Bonds, Series 2014, using the parameter bond sale method. As shared with the CRDC Board, the Coppell Recreation Development Corporation is the issuer of the bonds, and the Board must first authorize the refunding of the bonds. And once the Board authorizes that refunding, City Council must adopt a separate resolution specifically approving CRDC Board's resolution. Council's approval is the oversight of the Board that the governing body must do, and that is established by the Section 501 of the Texas Local Government Code. And so at the CRDC Board meeting on July 20th, we also shared with the Board that, like the ordinance that Coppell Council passed on June 9th to refund the city's Series 2013 bonds, the purpose of the refunding is to reduce the debt service cost by issuing new bonds at a lower interest rate. And so the resolution passed by the CRDC Board and before you this evening uses that same parameter sale method that Council approved on June 9th for the refunding. The parameter sale method allows the bonds to be priced when the market conditions are favorable, but only within the limits approved in that resolution. And so based on the recommendation of the city's financial advisor, the CRDC Board approved the following parameters: a maximum principal amount of $21.5 million, a final maturity no later than August 1st of 2038, a true interest cost not to exceed 3.5%, net present value savings of at least 3%, and that this must be done within 180 days of the board's approval. So now, approval of the resolution before you this evening does not require the bonds to be issued. The sale will only move forward if the market the parameters are met within the market, and staff does recommend approval. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Council, have any questions for Ms. Tien? Councilmember Prem Kumar.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Ms. Kim. So after, let's say, all the parameters are met and the transaction happens, how will the city council be notified that this has gone through?
So we will come back and let you know.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I've got Mayor Pro Tem and then Mayor Pro Tem.
Ms. Tien, thank you. Where are we right now in relation to the rates that would apply to these bonds and the upper part of the parameter?
I'm going to invite Jason Hughes, our financial advisor, up to answer that question.
Thank you.
Mayor and Council, Jason Hughes, Senior Managing Director at Hilltop Securities. Good to be with you. To your question, we are about 0.3 to 0.4% away from where we would need to be. Said another way, these bonds are not in the money. Rates are too high, so we bust through our parameters, so we can't do anything now. And again, it would take rates going down, if you just look at them all moving down roughly the same amount, about 0.3 to 0.4%.
Yeah, and I mean, with the new Fed chair and everything that's going on in the market, it seems like most people, am I right, are betting on they stay pat or there's a slight hike by the end of the year?
I think that's generally, yes, sir. I agree. The one thing that I would say, though, that's why we put this into place, right? And so if we do see those movements, and in particular, if you look at the volatility going back to March, and if there is news that brings those down and brings those down rapidly, even if it's for a small period of time, this allows us to go in and capture those savings if we have the opportunity.
And that's the benefit of the parameter
Yes, sir.
authority, right? I mean,
Yes, sir.
we're just hoping that there's a little bit of volatility in the market. It dips down below the parameter.
Correct.
We can refund, and then we end up saving money.
Yes, sir.
And if that doesn't happen, and all the upward pressure makes it impossible, then we've tried, but at least we're still paying what we would have paid.
That's right. You're in no worse position. I think that's one thing that's important to underscore. There's no downside to this, right?
Right.
These are fixed rate bonds, so you have the budget certainty of knowing exactly what your payment will be in any given fiscal year. If rates do stay elevated and we can't meet our parameters, you just continue paying that. Going forward, though, we can always do this because now the bonds are callable, so we can go and we can refund them at any point. To Ms. Teehan's comment, 180 days is what we have as far as time to do this. So we would look to come back to you to get another parameter approved, or we would have to come back to you, or in this case, the RDC board and then you to get another parameter once we get past that time period.
And I apologize. What's the maturity date for the bonds that we're trying to refund?
It is 2038, so no
38.
extension.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
So yeah, okay. So that, I mean, if we can pull this off and actually refund at a lower rate within the parameter authority that you're seeking, it could save us quite a bit of money.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Councilmember Carroll?
Thank you, Mayor. I move to approve item.
We have a question before the motion, if you don't mind. Councilmember Prem Kumar?
Sorry, Don. Jason, I just want to confirm an assumption. So I learned a week ago that this bond could be in multiple parts. I'm going to use an unofficial term part. So each part could have a different interest rate.
Yes, sir.
So this parameter, all of the criteria is going to apply to each part, correct?
Yes, and so if you look at the parameters, for example, the maximum rate is the true interest cost. All that simply means is it's basically the average rate taking into account the time value of money.
Mm-hmm.
And so it does, to your question, take into account maturities 1 through 12, because we have 12 maturities. So
Okay.
yes, it would take into account the entire bond.
Okay.
Yes,
so
sir.
So it consider all 12 parts and it's not just an individual part then.
Correct.
Okay.
It applies to everything.
I learned something else. Thank you.
Councilmember Carroll.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to approve item 9.
Thank you. Seconded by Councilmember Nevels. All in favor?
Walker, Hinojosa Smith, Carol Nevels, Prem Kumar, Matthew Hill. None opposed, motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hughes.
Thank you.
Item number 10 is the city manager reports with future agendas and directions from the work session. Mr. Collins.
Thank you, Mayor. A few project updates tonight. Bullock and Howell, all street concrete pours are complete. Driveway pours on Howell are complete. Driveway pours on Bullock are in progress, and restoration is in progress on Howell. On Royal Lane reconstruction, storm drain installations are in progress. Atmos gas line relocation is in progress, and subgrade work is also in progress. Our Justice Center remodel, the millwork and flooring are currently going in. The project is still on schedule to be completed in August. And Fire Station 3, the contractor is working on the under slab and foundation work. And that is all of my updates.
All right, thank you very much. Item number 11 are the mayor and council reports on recent and upcoming events. For our boards and commissions, participate in our local government and give back to the community by serving on one of Coppell's boards or commissions. The city is seeking passionate individuals to be part of the boards and commissions process that will help guide the development, future needs, regulations, and all the more for Coppell. Applications will be open on August 3rd. More information is going to be coming on the city website and social media. The final budget workshop, we will perform a final review of the proposed budget beginning 6 p.m. Tuesday, August 4th. Item number 12 is the council committee reports concerning items of community involvement with no council action or deliberation permitted. Items A and B are both by Councilmember Nevels on the Coppell ISD and Coppell seniors.
Thank you, Mayor. Got an update from Coppell ISD. The school district is excited to welcome students, families, and staff back for another great school year. The first day of school is coming soon on August 12th, 2026, and we encourage our entire community to help make it a positive and memorable start to every student. The district's Cowboy United enrollment campaign continues to show strong results. Through community outreach, campus tours, family engagement, and the combined efforts of staff, parents, and students and community partners, Coppell ISD is seeing increased interest and enrollment. And also the Cowboys United campaign was recognized with an award at the school board meeting last night. The progress demonstrates what's possible when our community works together to share the stories of our schools and reminds families why Coppell ISD is an excellent choice. The school district appreciates the City of Coppell's continued partnership in helping us welcome families and strengthen our community. Families can find important back-to-school information on the Coppell ISD Parent Hub. The hub includes school supply information, registration details, transportation updates, calendars, meal information, campus resources, and upcoming back-to-school activities at coppellisd.com/parenthub. Coppell ISD is also excited to welcome the newest employees to the district. These educators and staff members bring new talents, experiences, and energy to the schools, and they look forward to introducing them to the Coppell community at the upcoming new employee events. Our new hire event is on July 30th, which is this Thursday. Our returning employees will also come together for welcome back activities and convocation as the district celebrates their dedication, reconnect as one team, and prepare for the year ahead. The welcome back convocation is August 6th with the theme of Together We Unite. The school district invites the community to join in welcoming both new and returning employees. A friendly greeting, note of encouragement, or a simple thank you can help out educators and staff feel supported as they begin the new school year. The partnership between the City of Coppell, Coppell ISD, local businesses, and the families in the community play an important role in student success. When our community unites behind its schools, everyone benefits. The district looks forward to a safe, successful, and exciting first day of school and a wonderful year for all Coppell ISD students, families, and staff. And that concludes my report from the ISD. And let me pull up.
Did you have a time that the breakfast on Thursday starts?
I can get that for you, Mayor. Stand by. I got you right here. Thursday I've got, 8 a.m.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. All right, and at Coppell Middle School West. All right, and then, here we go. Report from, just a couple of things that have gone on at the Senior Center. The Independence Day celebration was fantastic. The center was able to serve 100 Senior Center members. There was a quarterly donation day. It was a huge success. So the center manager sent me some photos of just the amount of books and materials that they were able to collect for their donation day. So that was really positive to see. And a little bit of a somber note, but kind of with positivity. Unfortunately, following the recent passing of several highly involved members, the seniors or the staff at the Senior Center has witnessed the senior community come together in remarkable ways to support the families and loved ones affected. Their compassion, generosity, and sense of community have been a powerful reminder of the meaningful relationships built at the Coppell Senior and Community Center. So it's always great to see that come together. I've had a couple conversations with my mother about some events that her and her husband have recently attended. And I will say that just kind of for the council in general, I always talk to a lot of the seniors just about feedback about how the center's going, how the staff is going, and we've received a ton of compliments just about the staff that's currently there right now. It seems to be just a really good fit, and as the center has gone through some upgrades with the roof, and there were some power challenges last week. You see people come together and just rally around each other because they love the community, they love the atmosphere around there. So I just want to thank the entire staff, from the top down, just making sure that is continuing to be a welcoming place for our senior community. So that concludes my report on the seniors. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Item number 13 are public service announcements concerning items of community interest with no council action or deliberation permitted. Do we have any public service announcements? Seeing none, item number 14, we did not have an executive session, so there was no necessary action. Therefore, there being no further business before this council, we are adjourned at 7:55 p.m.